The legend of the Naga on the flat earth plain. Wow.
This is a timeless legend beloved by the people of Bali about the lush island they call home. High above the island, concealed by the mist surrounding the three sacred mountains, Gunung Agung, Gunung Batur, and Gunung Batukaru, exists a great celestial dragon known as the Naga. Through the inky, starlit sky, he descends the mountains and swims beneath the waves to the depths of the surrounding ocean each night to meet his most treasured love, the glistening pearl that sits tranquil on the ocean floor. The pearl is believed to have the power to grant all desires. Together, the Naga and the pearl form the Balinese symbol of eternal love. Each morning, the Naga makes his way back to the top of the mountains. As he rises from the sea, passing over the vast green rice fields, glistening drops of water fall from his scales, providing the life-giving nourishment for the next harvest, the source of the people's prosperity. When he arrives at his home among the peaks, the Naga settles in to spend the day watching over the island as a guardian of the people of Bali. It is his devotion that protects them from harm and keeps the island of Bali vibrant and thriving. With such meaning and a profound connection to the island's life and experience, the Naga embodies the essence of Balinese culture and its high regard for eternal love, prosperity, and protection.
Protection, huh? So we're just talking guardians. Many times during the course of history, certain individuals have come forward claiming to have realized the purpose and goal of existence. Through arduous spiritual disciplines, these masters had successfully united the male and female principles within themselves. Framer and the shaper raised the inner transformative fire serpent from its seat at the base of the spine. The Kundalini awakened the consciousness of love within their hearts. For these rare individuals, the evolutionary cycle of spiritual transformation has been completed. Consciousness of love within your heart bone, awakening that inner transformative fire dragon. Again, they say serpent, we say dragon, right? We just got the legend of the fire or the Naga, the Naga dragon. The legend of the Naga dragon from John Hardy, man. And we're just getting perspectives around the world of this term Naga. You know what I'm saying? We know when we talk Naga, right? We always go right back to the source. You know, I don't get caught up in snakes and serpents, right? You see how they always bring the dragon into it. And you got to ask, is the dragon the snake? Nah. In the book of Genesis, when this serpent was cursed to lie on his belly and get around in the dust of the of the ground, right? So what was he doing before he was cursed? What was this snake doing before he was cursed to swim around on his belly on the ground in the dirt, man? Is it a metaphor? Was he a flying dragon? I mean, a flying snake? A jumping snake? A running snake? Then he was cursed to be on his belly? Or are you talking about a fire breathing dragon? And his curse, because of the temptation of on Eve, right? His curse was to get his wings clipped. He couldn't fly no more. Right. You see, it wasn't the information he was teaching that was wrong. It was the order, the out of orderness that this serpent wanted to, you know, reveal things that should not be revealed until its proper time, right? Until Hawah's proper time. You don't give a child a big fat steak, when it's a newborn baby, big fat snake, big fat steak. You don't give a newborn baby a big fat steak. That's all, you know what I mean? You don't give him big fried. You gonna give a newborn baby some fried chicken? Some fried chicken balls? Nah, man, you need to get off that anyway, man. It ain't that hard when you transition to a plant-based solution. Love to Yaki Awaken and love to CJ Battle, Ty Bazan, Brother Nature, living well with Brother Nature, brothernature.com. We're talking about my Nagas, man. So you hear us say it all the time. My Nagas, my Nagas. And some people are like, man, what you talking about, man? What's this, man? What's that, man? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a sip of my sea moss tea. And I'm just going to stare at this Hebrew. And I suggest you do the same. And I suggest you have your children do it every day. Before my children could play the game or, do whatever extracurricular, I'm like, yo, did you do your Hebrew today? We had different days they have to do different things. They might have to write out a bunch of different animals. We got like a list of like 20, 30 animals, the Hebrew names for these animals. It might be the body parts. It might be just the 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 alphabet, the modern, the late, the picto, the paleo, you know what I'm saying? Like they might have to do all three, picto, paleo, and modern. Because I still want them to know this modern Yiddish so that they can decipher for it, NAGA, you know what I mean? And after doing it for all these years, they don't even look at the chart anymore. They just sit down and be like, all right, what are we doing? All right, boom. They write it out from their consciousness. And I think that's dope. And we're going to have some great, Hebrew interaction flow in the frequency of learning, the revamp, you know what I'm saying, of our home curriculum, homeschool flow, man. I'm going to stare at this and we just talking NAGA, right? So you hear that noon, right? That N, that'll be the noon. It should be so simple, a child should understand it. When I see my children popping off, it's so humbling and beautiful how they remember so much more than I can, you know what I mean? And they just write it out from memory. I'm like, they don't know how dope that is now, but later on, they'll be like, man, I'm real happy, Pops. Man, let's do this every day. Because now we could decipher the code. Naga. The Na is the noon. The seed. Continue. The heir, right? The inheritance, right? The son or the daughter, my sisters, the son or daughter is the Na, is the Noon. Now the Ga, there's different guys. We got this guy here, and it's interesting. They took this guy out of, it was another Hebrew chart, doesn't have the guy, because I think with this guy in it, it's 23 letters, and with the Gam, right, you can also go to the Gam, which is like a walking, a movement, a gathering, right? So the Naga could be the seed or the inheritance, the gathering of the inheritance. Is that the purpose of these guardians that they're calling the Naga dragon? It's not just a image. This is why the Most High never said, hey, put these images here and worship these. And, that's rule number one. Don't worship no image. You know what I'm saying? Because when you think of dragon, it's not an image that can really give you a dragon. You're talking frequency, air, water, you know what I mean? the image that they give us is it's like a still shot of one possibility that the Drakan, the water, the fire, the ether can be. But the dragon, it can be anything. It can take any form, shape. So with this whole reptilian flow that they try to, that's more of a psyop to me than what they like to say. Oh, the flat Earth's a psyop. The flat Earth's a psyop. And now we're trying to investigate the true orientation. But what's a psyop is all this reptilian, this and that. Yeah, I'm sure there's hijacks that's been spliced and diced and look like reptiles. That's cool. But that's not the dragon. And that's not the NAGA. You know what I'm saying? They put these images on the NAGA in Christianity, especially. They make you afraid of dragons. They make you afraid of any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even snakes. Snakes get a bad rap. Snakes are not some wicked creature, yada, yada, yada. But, we hear this in Christianity and it becomes, snakes are very wise. You know what I mean? Like, these are wise creatures. All this is created by the creator, man. So snakes get a bad rap. Dragons get a very bad rap, especially in Christianity. But in the Hebrew, which we're going to revisit Numbers 21, when Moses created that copper dragon, whoever it bit or breathed on stung, because the verb sting, to sting, is the same as to bite. So they translated bite, but it can easily be stinging, like the stinging of the flame, of the fire, and it gave them life. Whoever this fire hit, they got life from this dragon. Now later they can fall asleep in their consciousness and start worshiping the images of these dragons or the images of these angels are worshipped, the prophets are worshipped, all of our nobles are deified, and that's when we go off and slip into the Ruach Tardima. That's when we go to sleep. But when we get our awareness back, we're talking energy, right? Light, frequency. They call it Kundalini rising, the serpent rising, is your dragon, your frequency that's always with you. That's the guardian angel. That's the guardian Drakan, the Khan. Remember, Khan means priest, but what else? The book I was just reading out of, The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom by Mark Amaru Pinkham. We done dog on this, man. My wife servers know. It's a good time to revisit it with a dragonfly perspective. And again, we say dragonfly because the dragonfly has that panorama vision, man. Can see 360 degrees. 3 plus 6 is 9. The 9 is the noon. Back to the noon. The 9 is the noon. And the 9 is not just a number, it's a spiral, it's a portal. And the Ga, right, the NAGA, they have this type of twisting thing, right? So they say rope, twist, dark, or wicked. So this twistingness, can sometimes, just like a Leviathan, they say, oh, the twisted serpent or the twisted, the crooked, Leviathan, the crooked serpent, sometimes it's being translated, or the twisted serpent, This twisting just alone can easily kind of, give you a literal twisting of a dragon, type of flow. Dark, wicked. We have fallen dragons, you know what I'm saying? We got fallen angels, you got fallen dragons, you got dragons that chose up, you got dragons that choose down. Interesting though, right? And they took the Ga, because, look, there's no Latin or what else is this? Modern. There's no modern translation of the Ga. Like, they took the Ga. It's like it got a bad rap. It got deleted, right? And now they got 22 letters instead of 23. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Count with me. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So if I ask you how many Hebrew letters are there in the Hebrew alphabet, you're going to say 22 most likely. But there's really the hidden God that was snatched out after the modern, and then we never hear about it again. I think this guy represents the dragon. You know what I'm saying? I think they're hiding something. But even if you go with this guy, the God, which they kind of changed to a C in the Latin and back to the English. You know what I'm saying? So they changed this guy to a C, and the other guy just gets ignored. So where do they get their G from? Where do you get your G from? I would think the gum, but it's interchangeable with the C. So that's why you got the calm and the gum. Like the whole calm is also the whole gum. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna dig on the whole calm. Cause we're gonna talk about real Nagas in Arizona, right? But just kind of a prelude to what we're gonna dig on. You got the whole calm, right? HOHOKAM, which are also the Anasazi connected with that Southwest. Remember the sweat hypothesis, which we're going to revisit. The sweat hypothesis says that Antarctica used to be connected directly to the Southwest of America. Yeah, Antarctica balls. So there's portals and pyramids and whatever connection, vortex connection between Antarctica and the Southwest of North America, specifically. All right. Now you got the portals and the vortexes in Sonora and Sonoma and all that. But just check it. So you got the whole con, right? Now I can also flip the spelling to a G. No. Search for whole God. They're gonna put whole calm here. Oh, there we go. One did it. And look how they spelled this one. Still talking about the whole con, which means those who have disappeared. So some would say, yeah, did these people disappear or are they still here? But they'll flip the spelling from G's, C's, and K's because obviously the C's and the K's are going to interchange. But the G's and the C's and the K's intertwine. You know what I mean? In the English one letter rule of the Horace Butler, and sometimes Q's, right? Like when they say Quam, right, or Coon, you can spell it with a Q or a K or a C, like Con. Con could also be spelled with a Q, probably a G too, right? So when you get these GOMs, can also be con, like gamma, con. We're talking GOM. We're just talking GOM. So when Nagas ask me, what does Naga mean? I gotta take him to the Pictopedal. I gotta take him to the seed. You know what I mean? I got Naga. It's simple. We're talking about the seed, the continuance and inheritance, son and daughters. And we're talking about the tribe, the gathering, the walking. And you got to move through this door together, my Naga. So it's the seed, it's the inheritance that's gathering. And the Naga dragon, you know what I mean? Since dragon means to see clearly, it means that this tribe is seeing clearly. The seed is seeing clearly as it's tribing up. And the guardianness of things, the fire breathing dragonness of things, it's protecting the house. It's protecting the gathering. It's protecting the walking. It's protecting you tribing up with you. You keeping the code. But when you out of code, you don't got no guardian like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not one with it. You're not one with your kundalini, with your frequency. Your frequency is off. You slaying your dragon by eating, you know what I'm saying, that hijack that you're eating. You slay your dragon by listening to the music you're listening to and the frequency that you're listening to it in. You slaying your dragon by slaying your brother. You slaying your dragon by stealing from your Nagas. You slaying your dragon by not putting the most high over everything. The guy, yeah, the twisting. The twisting. We're gonna talk Leviathan, man. Let's go, man. So Hokan, we'll get there. Wow. So I'm gonna get a little chapter one, then I'm gonna go back to the intro. All right, then I'm gonna go back to the intro. This is the return of the serpents of wisdom. And Marco Maro's, trying to connect things to the Atlantis flow, to the all pre-Columbus flow. And obviously we can dodge our own hijacks. No author has it right, no author has it perfect. But we can build on what this NAGA is, since we know it's about protection in all other cultures but Christianity, right? This dragon is always about protection. Even in the Hebrew, with Moshe making the copper dragon, they say the brazen serpent. But I'm asking you, is it a serpent or is it a dragon? And you're going to have to take it to the most basic breakdown into the alchemy, my naga, again, and say, it's an alchemical serpent, Ka, that represents the impersonal nature. So it doesn't represent true nature, but the impersonal nature, unconsciousness. It doesn't represent consciousness. It represents unconsciousness, like the AI just now bursting into consciousness. This serpent takes many forms, just like the dragon takes many forms. The dragon could take a human form. The serpent could take human form or robot form, AI form. You got to know it by frequency. You got to know it by the impersonal nature. You got to know it by this unconscious energy is bringing. When the act of conscientio, the bringing together of opposites, it can come with this gang versus that gang, putting each other against each other. It can come with bringing opposite people invading your land, right? It can come with putting opposite ingredients in your natural diet, your natural food. It can come with any type of coming together of opposites, man. This is alchemy. This is what they do, Managa. This is what they do in their quadrillion-dollar laboratories. Just cook up opposites, right? Cook up opposites. It can come in the form of the tenderoni. It can come in the form of whatever the hell they spraying in our skies. That's the coming together of opposites, boss. And when that occurs, the serpent is frequently part of the symbolism, not the dragon, man. Because in alchemy, there's a serpent, right? That's different from a alchemical dragon. And again, it's of unknown origin. I like to call it creator origin. Because to the hijack who's writing this, it's unknown. It's above the firmament, right? We've been talking a lot about the flat drop. We're about to get right back in it. It's a mysterious substance, boss. They were very clear with this impersonal nature of this serpent. Yeah, man, it represents androgyny, that Baphomet, right? The image of this union of king and queen, which is really their hijacked version of our framer and shaper. God, it brings everything to life but kills everything. That's the serpent. It don't say that about the dragon. It don't say that about the dragon. So stop confusing the serpent with the dragon. When you hear dragon, don't think serpent, because that's Christian. All right? Get out the mind of a hijack. Don't think Revelations, red dragon trying to kill the Christ child. Think hijack free dragon in Revelations trying to take out Zeus and them. And being on this pivot, staying on this pivot. That dragon was hijacked free. That Christ child represent Zeus, my nigga. And the dragon was right to try to slay that child. Because that child brought us nothing but opposites. Because the child that Zeus, that Zeus wants to slay your dragon by taking you out the code and saying, no, come through me, go through the son to get to the Father. That's the slaying of the dragon. That's the conscientio, coming together of opposites, because we go directly to the Creator. They black, white, black, white, black, white checkerboard in your face. Red versus blue, when red plus blue means purple crown. GDBDs, stop it. It's the coming together of opposites that got y'all thinking that you're ops. That's also the alchemy. You're not ops. You're family, and you know it. Whoever got into it for whatever reason, most likely the hijack was behind that. The hijack was behind the poison. The hijack was behind the coming together of opposites. We are acting like this because we've been invaded, boss. We're acting like the children of the invasion. We've done it to ourselves, but we're not our own ops. Not when we code up. No more killing, no more stealing, no more jealousy on each other. Be proud of each other. The jealousy leads to bloodshed, covetousness. That's how you slay the dragon. The dragon is you. What? The dragon is the vessel in which your ruach is contained. My NAGA? That's not the serpent. Unknown origin. That's not the serpent. Nah, man. That's not unconscious. That's not impersonal nature. Nah, man. That's not bringing everything to life and killing everything, boss. That's not their cosmic, underneath the firmament dragon. I'm talking about HaWah's dragon. I'm talking about Isaiah 6, singing holy, holy. The high level seraphim, my nigga. The seraphim singing holy, holy. Glory to HaWah. Glory to HaWah. In Isaiah chapter 6. They brought our ops to, they turned us into ops. Tecumseh tried to tribe him up. He was already down with these Moorish treaties, the coming together of ops, slaves dragging canoeing them, right? Khan, the dragon is the vessel that carries your spirit. That means it's the guardian of your spirit. It's your soul's protection. Without your code, you ain't got no protection. You in hijack city. But when you are protected, they don't know where it's coming from. It's a mysterious substance of unknown origin, boss. It's philosophical. Quicksilver. Unlike ordinary nothing, man. We don't know what this is. We don't know what this is. We're talking spirit. We're talking soul. The universal spirit is the blood of that dragon. The dragon is not the serpent. Can y'all leave a comment for any newcomers or new wave servers? Say the dragon is not the serpent, and the serpent is not the dragon. Okay. Okay. I'm talking renewal, my naga. Don't we need it? I'm talking water. I'm talking power. Mama says power is mine. Mama's big dragon. You know what I'm saying? Psalms 18, HaWah come down with the smoke from his nose and fire from his mouth to slay the enemies of King David, to slay the enemies of the tribe. So all of this book is called Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. We can see clearly. Are we talking snakes or are we talking dragons? Numbers 21, HaWah has cursed the tribe of Israel because of all this back talking and out of coldness. They got fiery serpents falling from the sky. You think they're snakes on fire, boss, or fire breathing dragons? And they asked Moses, please pray to the Creator so these dragons get off our ass, man. And he said, all right, man. Hey, Moshe, build you a copper dragon. Whoever it breathes on gets life. So you needed the dragon to cure you from the dragons. And the dragons in Isaiah chapter 6 have 6 wings. Many times during the course of history, certain individuals have come forward claiming to have realized the purpose and goal of existence through arduous spiritual disciplines. These masters had successfully united the male and female principles within themselves, raised the inner transformative fire dragon. Since we know we're not talking snakes, I'm going to replace all serpents with dragons from this point on because you know clearly. We see clearly and you know clearly. Let's go. Fire dragons from its seat at the base of the spine. the Kundalini, or the Kundalana, and awaken the consciousness of love within their hearts. For these rare individuals, the evolutionary cycle of spiritual transformation has been completed. Such enlightened men and women have reached the goal of all spiritual paths and have become androgynous serpents or dragons of wisdoms. And they're just saying you got the balance. You got mama and daddy. You got framer and shaper. You got wisdom, right? Serpents of wisdom. You can't have wisdom without Big Mama. Proverbs chapter 8. Let's go. While existing within male and or female gender specific forms, they are both male and female spirit and matter fully united in one body. The I am of the individual self has fully united with the unlimited spiritual self or God, and the affirmation of I am that. I am everything. I and my father or mother, right, are one, continually resounds within their heart. In symbolic terms, the ego, the spirit, male principle, has fully united with the snake matter ego, female principle, and they have become serpents of wisdom, all right, or drakan, as fully conscious spirit inhabiting a physical form. The dragons of wisdom wield unlimited dragon wisdom and power, including the ability to materialize any physical object at will. Again, when you got the key to energy, frequency, and vibration, harmonics, right? It's all happening. They dwell within immutable physical bodies which can survive for hundreds of years, although they experience the world primarily out of an immortal fourth dimension, quote, dragon body. Whoa, slow down. You dropping too fast. Slow down, you dropping too fast. Fourth dimension dragon body. So when I say every Naga got a dragon, right, I'm saying your soul has protection. You have a seal of protection. In code, that's your seal. That's your key. Key is their chi, right? Energy, inner key. What's the key? The key is the code. Exodus 20 got us in code because it raises our collective vibration to not kill each other, not steal from each other. I ain't saying go to no church. I ain't saying go to no temple. I'm saying rest every seventh day. Stop slaying your brother and put the most out of everything. No vanity on HaWah's name. No adultery, my nigga. Keep your oaths. Do your best. Keep your oaths, your bonds. Huh? Can we do it? No false witnessing on each other. Can we do it? Honor your framer, your shaper above, your mother, your father above. Can we do it? You do these things, it raises your frequency, my nigga. We can do it. We're talking about our dragon bodies, right? You talking about go to war without your dragon body? Boys, you thoughtless without mama? Without Abba? Whenever we stepped up, the creator went before us, preparing the battlefield, man. Like, you know what I mean? It was a joy to rock in the frequency. To rock without the creator, it's a lonely thing, man. So to get back in tune with the arsenal of ammunition the creator has given you through energy, freedom, vibration is greater than any weapon you can ever buy. Because you got frequency, you got your Drakan, you got your dragon. So they experience the world primarily out of an immortal, fourth dimensional dragon body, an etheric sheath. We've been talking about the ether, right? We've been talking ether, right? Right, MHOE? So they got this ether that surrounds and interpenetrates the physical body contained within the dragon body are the supernatural senses of clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy, omniscient, omniscience, and omnipresence, which allows the dragons to remain in continual communication with the subtle realms which surround and interpenetrate the physical plane. Now, we just got, again, this fourth dimensional dragon body has this ether sheath or shield which surrounds and interpenetrates the physical body. Now, what did it say in the alchemy flow? The black Draco. That the dragon is the vessel in which the spirit is contained. So you're talking about the vessel in which that Ruach is contained. Contained within the dragon body are the supernatural senses of clairvoyance, clairaudience. So it's containing your frequency. It's an etheric shield which surrounds and interpenetrates the physical body. It's the container, my naga, the container. And contained within the dragon body are your supernatural senses. Hey, up to the the supernaturalist, man. And baby natural, baby supernatural. You got these supernatural senses more than just sight and touch, and now you got supernatural senses, clairvoyance, telepathy, and all that, right? So this allows your dragon to remain in continual communication with the subtle realms which surround and interpenetrate the physical plane. I mean, you put that together, then now you really tapped in. You communicate now, right? If they so desire, they can extricate the dragon body from its physical sheath and travel within it to distant locations. Whoa, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, I'm out of here, baby. I'm out of here. We are traveling. We are traveling throughout the universe. We are traveling to distant locations. We're talking about lands beyond the poles. You see how Naga Talk and Flat Drop 101 just do a little, what I mean? Do a little samba, what I'm saying? Do a little rhythmic flow. Step one, step two, turn around, dip, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We're talking about dragons, Naga dragons across the flat earth plane. I know some of y'all already getting to one of the key questions. For my advanced wave surfers, I'm going to go ahead and address it right here, right now. You're asking yourself, am I a dragon? Am I a dragon? Well, my naga, do you got the fire? Do you got the fire? Not any fire. Do you got the fire? Do you got the water? Do you got that ether, that air? You got that ether? You got that mem sauce? God, I mean, do you got your earth? Do you got your inheritance? Remember, the Na is the noon, is the seed, the air, right? So these elements are within you. HaWah gave you more than just two arms or two legs, Managa. HaWah gave you the dragon body. And some people can extricate the dragon body from its physical and travel within it. So you can go within your dragon body to distant locations all across the flat earth plane, the melanated true earth plane. Did you know? Some people talk about astral projecting. We're talking dragon bodies and traveling anywhere throughout the universe. At death, the spirit of wisdom can permanently detach the dragon body from its material sheath and relocate within it to one of the many paradise realms of the immortals. Come on, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. We done read this before here and there, but with a dragonfly perspective, 360 panorama, you know what I mean? Now we're talking paradise realms of the immortals. My now, you know we're talking flat draw 101. You know we're talking more land beyond the pole. Worlds beyond the pole. Paradise realm. So this is why we're seeing Atlanta press the John and outside the second ring of this and that. This is why we're seeing all these other levitating continents. So wow, okay, this is all right, my knock. We processing because these other gods that are no gods, that are temporary gods, they make promises. You know, in the book of Oaspi, we're gonna get back on that Oaspi flow, but Muhammad and them and all these Christ hijacks, you know what I'm saying? Christ just means anointed, so anybody can claim the title, and everybody has, right? So they promise their heavens, but their heavens are just some island somewhere, some continent beyond Antarctica somewhere. But the real paradise, you need to be in that frequency to reach these portals and vortexes that may or may not connect from Antarctica to Arizona, right? Something like that. California, New York City, who knows where the portals are? Who knows? But these portals lead to these paradise realms. Now it says, at death, you can permanently detach the dragon body and go to one of these permanent, paradise realms. Or, you can interpenetrate the physical plane while living, remain in continual communication with these realms which surround and interpenetrate the physical plane. So some of these realms, like the levitating continent we dug on, could we just investigate and get out of our way? Back, hijack, back, hijack. We just investigate. So they could, these floating islands, all this stuff, there's different lore about these things, right? But they could, have this connection of physical and spiritual and yada yada, have this interpenetration of frequency, you know what I'm saying? That you can have your supernatural clairvoyance, telepathy, clairaudience, omniscience, and omnipresence in life and in death. Your dragon can permanently detach the dragon body and relocate within the dragon body. And remember, the dragon body, according to alchemy, is the vessel in which the ruach is contained, the spirit. So if the dragon body is the vessel in which the ruach is contained, then in physical death, your ruach is still very much alive, right? And your dragon body contains your spirit. And your dragon body, according to Mark Amaru, can be a vessel of teleportation, a relocation into one of the many paradise realms of the immortals, my nigga. I need you to enjoy that flow, enjoy that frequency. So it says, whenever and wherever they have manifested upon the earth, the serpents of wisdom have been worshipped as divine gods, goddesses, treated with the utmost respect. Of course, we dodge our own hijack because we ain't worshiping nothing but HaWah. And this is why we lose all connection. This is why we have to go through this period of slumber and sleep and not know about our Drakan, not know about our frequency. Because we started to be worship. We started to worship everything but most high over everything. We was out of code. They have served the various races around the earth as prophets. We're talking dragons. Talking dragons, not snakes, man. We ain't talking snakes, are we? They have served the various races around across the earth as prophets, magicians, healers, and the ones who speak with the gods as their equals. They have also been renowned gurus and spiritual teachers, the way showers to those who yearn to achieve the liberated state of an enlightened one and extricate themselves from the cycle of time. Collectively, all dragons of wisdom are part of the global organization, referred to variously as the serpents of wisdom or dragons of wisdom. The people of the dragon, the possessor of dragon wisdom and power, the solar brotherhood, those who have fully incarnated the spirit into a material form, and the great white brotherhood, those of immaculate spiritual purity. Remember, white means pure, right? While ostensibly living solitary lives, they remain in contact with the greater worldwide network and work in tandem for the spiritual upliftment of the entire human race. They all speak the same universal language of love and teach the same universal truth. So before this dragon was vilified as some evil red dragon in Revelations, all cultures have their, beautiful dragon, what I'm saying, benevolent, helpful uh, guardians, what I'm saying, dragons as guardians. You see it all the time in the movies, How to Train Your Dragon, of course, Avatar, what I'm saying. I mean, there's so many movies like that. I mean? It's so crazy, I mean, that all of a sudden, when we talk dragons, especially when we talk dinosaurs, knowing that the word dinosaur is a recent invention from 1841. Everything before that is just always dragons. Dragons was just a normal word that became scrutinized and Christianized into this evil situation. Meanwhile, we are facing true evil every day. We're looking at our skies being sprayed and all this stuff. We're facing true evil, trafficking here, kidnapping here. We're facing true evil, but we afraid of dragons because they was burning down the hijacked castles. What? We don't have no folklore of dragons coming and hijacking us unless we was out of code like Numbers 21. You know what I'm saying? Unless HaWah sent them dragons. But in GP, these dragons don't come jam up no Nagas, you know what I'm saying? No Negro. We don't got that. They have their horror stories of dragons burning down their castles and jamming them up. Look at what's the age of what's that joint with Christian Bale? Oh man, Age of the Dragons, something like that. What was that thing called, man? Somebody let me know, man. But Christian Bale was in this movie, man. And they were just afraid of these dragons. They were just hunting these dragons. It was like some post-apocalyptic thing, and the dragons had destroyed London, destroyed all the big cities. They're afraid of these dragons. I mean, like their fears being passed on to us, and we're seeing it with clear eyes because that's all a dragon means is to see clearly, to see, right? So, how do you go from seeing a North Pole, South Pole? We're just talking flat. We're just talking flat. We're talking a field. North Pole, flat, flat North Pole, flat field, South Pole. This is why we get our dragon back. Because with all this, man, we got to see clearly. Huge serpent or dragon. Yeah. You got to make your mind up. We're talking serpent or dragon. In alchemy, those are two opposite things. And they put the opposites together to slay our dragon or to slay our vision so that we cannot see clearly, man. We talking about to see. So they want us to live in darkness, take our light away. So they bring us opposites to really take your light away. They don't want you to see. They don't want anything being visible. They don't want nothing being clear. Monaga, I'm just talking dragon. I'm just talking dragon. That's the first definition. This is number one. To see. How did you get afraid of sight? How did you get afraid of the light, man? How did you get afraid of being able to visualize, man? To have clarity. How did you get afraid of clarity? So when I talk dragon, I'm talking about seeing clearly. When I talk naga, I'm talking about the seed that is gathering and the protectors of this seed, the guardians of our seed. I'm talking about the vessel that your ruach is contained. When I talk naga, when I talk dragon, I'm talking about the vessel in which the ruach is contained. Because that living spirit can be extracted. And that living spirit is life. And that's clarity. That's vision. You know what I'm saying? Do you see clearly? We're talking spirit. What's a spirit without clarity of sight? You want to be blind spirit or you want to be an aware spirit, right? We're talking about being aware. Do you see clear? Naga's on the flat earth plane. Let's go. Remember, we talked about renewal and its tendency to slow skin and be continually reborn reflects the immortal nature of the serpents of wisdom. The dragon represents renewal. So we're aligning alchemy with the recon of the bro Mark Amaro. Right? All right. Rebirth, immortality, fountain of youth. It says traditionally take the forms of serpents and dragons as if, well, clearly they can't be the same thing, right? If it's serpents and dragons. So you say, what's a serpent and what's a dragon? Because y'all know they're not the same thing. That's why you separate them. We got to see clearly. We got to say, oh, so a dragon is unknown to y'all. Got it. We're talking life, living. And the serpent, we're talking about killing everything. Boss, impersonal, unconscious. That's a big difference between this serpent and the dragon. And that's why they have to bring your opposites to slay you. Furthermore, the undulating, spiraling shape. Spiraling reminds me of this twisting situation. But again, you're talking the noon and you're talking the ga. Spiraling. And we gotta, figure out why they took this guy here that you see this spiraling, twisting situation going on. It's almost like they're hiding that you're calm. When I can't make this stuff up. HaWah, HaWah. Look at the picto, right? So you got the spiraling, then you got this circle-like situation, and right above it you have the same glyph, right? You got the same symbol. And it's kind of giving us a hint as to what this spiraling is that's been taken out. The 23rd letter reduced to 22. And the spiraling connects to the same exact letter that is for an I, right? Uh-oh. Which means what? To see. Come on, boss. So the dragon means to see clearly. It's my first time noticing this live in full effect with Drop Nation. AI the Drop Nation. We popping off. Halal HaWah. My dragoons. Remember the Hebrew tanin means dragon. The dan means jackal. The tanin is singular for dragon or giant sea monster. The tan is singular for the dog, right? The dog-headed tribes, right? Sinus of Phala, a den of jackals, right? So look how like close, you know what I'm saying? Like you can easily mistranslate dragon into a serpent. And remember, according to the indigenous cons, the fox plays the role as the serpent, not the dragon. The fox plays the role as the serpent in a lot of indigenous mythologies, right? So the fox is the serpent, the dog is the serpent, the dog headed is the serpent or the jackal. The jackal is the serpent. The dog headed is the unconsciousness bursting into consciousness because they're not natural by law. They're unconscious nature, right? Impersonal nature of the unconscious. That's the serpent, or not? And that's the jackal. The jackal is not the dragon. That's why it's a differentiation between tan and tannin. Now, the tananim or the tananim is the plural for dragons, and the tanin or tanim is the plural for jackal, right? The fox, swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping, right? Dora the Explorer plays the role as the swiping serpent. Just remember your tannins and tans, right? Remember your tannins and tans when you're doing your translations. Back up here, of course, we're talking about to see. To see, right? Do we see? Do we see, right? Are we watching? Do we know? Who's throwing shade, man? Hey, man. Sometimes you need shade to see. You don't want to stare directly, too long into the sun. You can't really see after you're done staring at the sun. You might need some shade. That's dope. It says silent. Okay. So the guy seems to have the same, paleo. It seems to be the same as this eye. And the eye means to see. And could we just be talking about the dragon, which means to see or to watch or to know or to see clearly? Khan, we're just talking the dragon. Is that the Ga in dragon, which can also be drakan with the K? The Khan means the priest, right? Or the priesthood. Okay. I mean, we're just seeing clearly. Is it a serpent or a dragon? Snake or dragon? Jackal or dragon? Either way, none of them can touch the frequency. The spiraling shape of the snake reflects the spiraling life force or high frequency matter. High frequency matter is produced when the pure vibrations of spirit are fully integrated into a dense material body. The achievement of an evolved dragon of wisdom. Other serpentine motifs used by the dragons, which are more explicitly androgynous, quote unquote, in nature, unite the symbol of the snake, which represents the female principle, as well as ego and matter, with symbols and colors associated with the male principle, and spirits such as wings, feathers, and hues of gold and blue. Blue, purple, red, white, linen, gold, thread. Their synthesized union produces such androgynous symbols as winged snakes. Come on, Manak. Feathered serpents. All these are dragons, right? Azure dragons and golden cobras. So the Atlantis flow, they got the snakes, right? They got the cobras. But the Hebrew flow, we got the dragons, the Tukans. So it seems like the ancient war was really like snake versus dragon frequency. Right, Thoth and them, they all represented this duality, this snake flow, serpent flow, and the Khans, the indigenous Khans, the Ibaru, represented the feathered flying Khan, the Quetzalcoatl flow, the true frequency of the water, the power, the energy, the frequency from above the barrier is not felt by these snakes. These snakes, these serpents can't feel the upper vibrations, just like the 440 hertz doesn't hit the top 4 octaves. It only hits 8 out of 12 octaves. Did you know that the music coming out your car and your phone and 440 hertz out your TV, it doesn't hit the top 4 octaves? 432 hits all 12 octaves, man. 432 is above the barrier, right? So it's all frequency. We're talking high frequency matter, my niggas. Over time, a full spectrum of dragon symbols have surfaced around the globe, across the plane, as each divergent branch of the dragons of wisdom have adopted its own unique versions of these androgynous dragon and its definitive symbol. And again, when they say androgynous, they're saying it, like I said, we gotta dodge our own hijacks, right? So they're gonna give you more of the Atlantis flow. I need you to get the babies out the bathwater. They're gonna talk androgyny, the image of the union of king and queen, or female, feminine, masculine. Go look at the Baphomet flow, of course. You see both into one image. And this is why HaWah said, stay away from all these images, no graven images, right? Because they try to make some makeshift connection of masculine, feminine into an image, and it just doesn't look right, right? It just ain't cool. We don't need that image to understand that we got a mama and we got a father. You know what I'm saying? That we got a framer and we got a shaper. That wisdom, she says, I am understanding in Proverbs chapter 8, right? We need understanding. We can get that without your image. I promise you, because your image is going to bring to life these hijacks, but it's going to kill nature, everything natural by law, especially the supernatural, right? Hey, out to the supernaturals. We want to get our dragon back because it's been getting slayed, boss, based on Cariencio, boss. Moisture and the sulfur must be removed to stop the process represented by the dragon. Whoa, so what are they spraying in the sky, boss? Mysterious substance of unknown origin, man. So their androgyny ain't our androgyny. But understand they're just talking about female and male principles. All right? So we can get the baby out the bathwater. For example, the dragons of wisdom in Egypt, the Jedi, don't look like Jedi, chose as their identifying symbol the androgynous golden asp symbols, right? Images. The Chinese serpent of wisdom, the lung dragons Interesting, because we're talking breath. And in Chinese, they call them lungs, right? The dragons are the lungs, which is your breath, your security. We say ha, wah. God, do you see clearly that when you have your power, your frequency go through your body, your house, your family, your tribe, and you start to gather, walk, and vibe through a door, through an entrance, through a portal? Big Mama says, it gives you that breath. That breath will be called lung in China, which is the dragon. So you're greeted by your Drakan. Big Mama give you the dragon, the breath, the revelation when you walk through the door. And the dragon breathes that fire, that wah. Again, they say it sounds like a dragon is saying wall, W-A-L-L, when he's breathing fire or she's breathing fire. But it's really wah. First, the dragon needs the breath to breathe to get the security of the fire, right? You want that dragon fire. The dragon can't get the fire without the breath, without the revelations. But for that, you got to see clearly. My NAGA, my seed, my heritage that is gathering, tribe enough. Come on. That breath, lung dragons. The lungs got the breath. Chose as their definite symbol the androgynous Azori or golden dragon. So that's when everyone started putting these images, representing them with these images, right? The Mesoamerican serpents of wisdom, the Quetzalcoatl, the dragons of wisdom, the Quetzalcoatl in America, adopted as their exclusive emblem the androgynous plumed or feathered dragon. The serpents or the dragons of wisdom in India, the Nagas, the dragons, adopted the royal hooded cobra as their distinctive motif. Royalty is also symbolic of spirit. So you can kind of do a flashback and see where everybody went off and started worshiping these images. But they're all, in the root of it all, going back to the same, framer, shaper, energy, frequency, vibration, breath, and security. The king, the hand of God on earth. God, whoa, 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 okay. Okay, we're going to pause there. Let's keep talking Naga. Let's keep talking Naga. It's really interesting. Even when you look up like Naga dragon history, it's going to give you the Indian flow and all that. That's why we kind of got our preface throughout the years of just knowing that we're in India, right? So we don't need to go crazy to know we're in India. We're in Ptolemy's India. We're in India. We're in China. We're in Cathay, right? This is North America, right? Say fuego. We're going to get back on our fuego. We're in India, Managi. So they might be twisting something from the root of the Amaru Khan right here at home. But just because it sounds like India, don't tune it out. Just know that you're in Greater Asia, right? Ain't we in Asia? Last time that I checked, we're in Asia. According to Orientis Finds 1531. Last time that I checked, we're in Asia. We're in Grand Arteria. Because South America connects right to China. According to 1561, Carta Marina Navola Devola. We're in India Superior. Tangul, Florida. There ain't no North America, boss. It's all India. But it's India Superior. It's all India Superior according to Planets Fiero de Roselle, 1508. Yeah, Peru connects to what? India. India superior. They're all wrong. Everybody wrong in the 1500s, boss. Everybody wrong in the 1500s. Or are you in Asia? India superior. Real Nagas is, right? The land of the fire dragon, right? Okay. So, according to their Brahma deity flow, the creator deity Brahma relegated the Nagas to the nether regions when they became too populous on earth and commanded them to bite only the true evil or those destined to die prematurely. Now, it's almost like a takeoff of that Numbers 21, but they were biting, they can only attack the true evil. So they again are being guardians of good. They're still working for the Creator to bite or sting with fire true evil and those destined to die prematurely. They are also associated with waters, rivers, lakes, seas, wells, and are guardians of treasure. Guardians, 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 water, water, water. All this is connected. You got a lot of, you know, lore about these different lakes and seas that were once dragons and became this lake or this sea and all this stuff. But you're going to get a lot connected to the Sanskrit. We just got on that John Hardy flow on the opening. You got the Nagas, the Nagini, you know what I'm saying? They say semi-divine race. This is back on the Black Drago flow. Semi-divine, right? But the creators say that you are gods. Don't you know that you are gods? Dracons, Naga, Naya. And they're going to say snakehead, but we know better. We know better. It says also the name of the semi-divine race of supernatural beings. Back to this supernaturalness. So who's going to call you semi-divine? You're just saying that you're not the creator, but you're something like it, right? Because you got the power, supernatural. Depending on the source, the Nagas are regarded as demons. Come on, man. You know what that sounded like? The dragons in etymology, right? Really, it sounds like Leviathan, right? Because Leviathan, even in the book of Job, he's the creator's dragon. The creator's bragging about being able to tame this dragon. But suddenly he becomes a form of Satan. Because of what? Sometimes regarded, right? Who's the sometimes? Christianity. Christianity. Now he's Satan. Now he's Revelations, yada, yada. The turning, twisting, the twisting, the turning, the twisting, the turning, the twisting. Reminds me of that guy, right? GHAH, the rope, twisting and turning, which seems to have the same exact letter as to see clearly, right? To watch, to know, and I. Do you see clearly, right? Okay, okay. Bad, I got it popping off right now. So, you know what happens when we pop off. I get lost in my own drop sometimes, man. My bad, y'all. My bad. Let me get back there. Man, where that nigga go? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? All right, whatever, man. Let's go, let's go. Like drive, man. Hey, this only happens when you. Okay, okay, yeah. This only happens when you overdrop. When you overdropping, this is the only time it happens. But it's a good thing, man, because sometimes we need a lot of rain, man. We need a lot of water. So again, supernatural, race of serpents, or what? What's a serpent, right? Dragons, or impersonal nature. We're talking about supernatural. That's not supernatural. Can't be impersonal nature. All right, let's just get this. All right, we're talking dragons, mysterious substances. All right, the serpent is impersonal nature. That can't be supernatural. It's super hijacked. It's super fake, super phony, but it's not super nature. Right? It's not supernatural. It can't be supernatural. Click, check, check, con. Supernatural can't be a serpent because that's impersonal nature. Supernatural is supernature. Water spirits, right? Guardians, personified forces of nature. That's not impersonal nature to be forces of nature, right? And they say demigods because, that's how they want to relegate the power. All right. And it goes into their flow. And then they're going to connect all their naga-ness, how they've stolen the flow. And some of it has to do with us. Some of it has to do with straight hijack. I'm just making it clear, especially when they talk Shiva talk. We know, of course, they're hijacking and deifying our queens, just like our king. But Shiva's a title, and sometimes they apply it to a male or a female. Remember, androgynous, right? So I've seen Shiva being applied to, like a Joshua. A Joshua who's destroying all these hijacks will be turned into a destroyer power in their hijack mythos. Now you got a god of destruction, but he's really just Joshua clearing out the hijack from the promised land, right? Or you got a Sheba that turns into Shiva because, she's putting in that work. Queen Khalifa's putting in that work. She becomes a goddess of destruction to the hijack. And now all these Nagas are destructive somehow. You know what I'm saying? This is how they keep turning this into bywords and stealing the flow and bringing together the opposites to slay the dragon. Even the memories, even the good connotations, the connotations of the meanings of these words like Naga and dragon have now been smutted up into some serpent talk, into some evil talk, right? So we're here to untwist some of these layers, untwist some of these layers, okay? Because they just want to focus on the snake. But we're focusing on supernatural dragons, supernatural. The primitive beginnings of the dragons of wisdoms can be traced to the very dawn of time when all that existed was an unlimited ocean of consciousness. This infinite ocean of awareness, to see clearly, was the androgynous, unmanifest spirit or power or creator or HaWah, framer, shaper, which has also been referred to as Shiva or Brahma. See what I'm saying? So we dodge all these hijacks. The Tao among the Chinese, remember the Tao is the last letter of the Hebrew, right? So we can bring it all back home. The Tau signifies the two cross sticks. Ezekiel, 37, he got the two cross sticks, two sticks in one stick in this hand for the northern tribe, one stick in this hand for the southern tribe. Put it together, you got the mark, the sign, the monument, the signal, the Tau. So the Tau is a representation of a completion of sorts. It represents the work of the creator, but it is not the creator, right? And Christians just put JC on the cross, and now it represents God and the sacrifice and all this stuff, right? The crucifixion They threw a man on this Tau, but this Tau is a Hebrew letter. This Tau is unhijackable. We see the royal crest with this Tau on it. It represents the mark of what? Of HaWah. Because back to the beginning, we're talking about the strong power going into your house. You gathering, you moving through a door. Now you got the look, you got the revelation, you got that that lung, that dragon, that breath, the wall, that fire, that security. Now you are secure. Now you can eat. Now you got food. Now you got Zan or Zayin or Zion, right? Now you got nourishment, Khan, Zan, Zan. Now build your wall of protection and be careful who you contain in that and what you contain within your walls. And you better know your surroundings because we get it out the mud. Let's go, man. Unmanifest spirit of or Hawa, which has been referred to as their hijacked versions of Shiva and Brahman among the Hindus, the Tao among the Chinese, Ra among the Egyptians, Yod He Vav He, Yod He Wah, or Hawa Ha Wah among the Hebrews. From out of this spiritual sea emerged the first form of spirit. This is why they call the dragon an unknown origin, mysterious substance, right? It's a mystery, a resplendent dragon, my nine. So we cannot be talking snakes if we talking dragon. NAGA, we cannot be talking serpent. We're talking a resplendent dragon, and the dragon is the vessel where the spirit is contained. So the first form of spirit is a resplendent dragon, which was the first dragon of wisdom. Mama says in Proverbs 8, I was the first of his works. I was there before, earth was created, playing before him. I was his delight, always his delight. Mama was always his delight, Papa's delight. Read Proverbs 8 real slow. We're talking the dragon of wisdom around the globe or the plane. This primal dragon has been called the serpent goddess. We're talking Big Mama. Right? So they know wisdom is a she. They know that, right? The serpent on the tree, the plumed serpent, the Azori dragon, Shisha, Aman, Kamatef, Nef, Agatanandian, Dema, A or Inki, Khan or Khan. So in all these stories, they're referring back to the beginning, Big Mama, Big Big Pops, you know what I'm saying? And these are all their manifestations or remixing, you know what I'm saying, of something that many times had nothing to do with them. They just wanted a hot story. They just wanted to run with a hot story. They wanted to recreate it and make it their own. E and Inky. Khan or Khan, right? So I said, Khan means priest in Hebrew, but it also means that dragon. It also means that dragon. Do you have any confidence, my nugget, in Hawaii? Khan? So it means, Khan, the one Khan, the priest Khan, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the dragon and the serpent son or dragon son. Now we're just talking about the seed, which is the noon when we talk Naga. As the first tangible form assumed by spirit, the primal dragon was the vehicle of all Hawa's power. Remember, the vessel in which the spirits contain, the vehicle of Hawa's powers, including the triune powers of creation, perseverance, and destruction. Yeah. That's why you can look up Hawa and sometimes you're going to get calamity because Hawa brings calamity when Hawa chooses to bring calamity or destruction, like Atlantis. Through it, HaWah created the entire universe. Through what? The vehicle. What vehicle? The primal dragon. Now we're talking Big Mama. Now we seeing clearly. The primal dragon was also pro, uh, the possessor of HaWah's divine mind. That's Big Mama, the wellspring of all knowledge. What did Mama say in Proverbs 8? I am understanding. I am power. Power is mine. What did Solomon say in Proverbs chapter 4? You find Mama, you find life. Don't ever let her go. For this reason, the dragon of wisdom worldwide have traditionally venerated the primal serpent or dragon as their premier and archetypal teacher. After attaining union with spirit, they profess to become the mouthpieces for this archetypal teacher and the vehicles for its triune powers. And next time we'll talk about the angelic orders of these dragons, Here a little, there a little. But we know that the seraphim is the highest order of dragon, right? The seraphim, the seraph. What is a seraph? Yeah, I'm sorry, Levi, that they sometimes regard you as a form of Satan. But we know that we we know who the adversary is, right? Because Satan just means adversary. What is a seraph, boss? Oh, we're talking burning ones. We're talking burning or flaming angels. Seraphim. From Hebrew seraphim, only in Isaiah chapter 6. I mean, can we get that? Because we just talking about flying, lofty, fiery flying serpent or dragon. Because we ain't talking no snake. Class of angel. Copper color naga found here, boss. My naga is a copper color con found here by the European, not brought here on no slave ship, boss. Found here, boss, in 1828. It's telling you, he was just found here. And a seraph is an angel of the highest order. So when these seraphim are singing Holy, Holy in Isaiah 6, we about to get in the throne of HaWah, we're talking about dragons of the highest order. Dracons, dragons of the highest order. Burning ones, literally burning ones. Burning ones, right? Isaiah 6. Wow. All right, we're going to start with Numbers 21 because I don't want to forget about it. And then we're going to, scoot over to Isaiah 6. And then we're going to talk about this flat earth plane. And, this is something we talked about a couple of times before. So I'm just going to get it like it's hot, man. You know what I mean? So the tribe started speaking real greasy, right? Numbers 21, verse 5. And the people spoke against the Creator, against Moshe, They say, why you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? And, there's going to be people saying the same thing when HaWah frees you out of America and all this stuff. Not America, the country, but America, the United States corporation, hijack invasion. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be free on your own land, man. They said, why you brought us out of this? Why'd you free us out of captivity? Because Egypt means bondage, right? So why'd you free us out of bondage to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there's no water. Our soul loath like bread. HaWah got upset with this, right? So HaWah sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people died. So HaWah can curse you or bless you with these fiery serpents, which we know we're talking fire-breathing dragons, and we ain't talking no snakes on fire, boss. Let's go into the lexicon. Wow, wow. Shalom, Shabbat. It's always a pleasure to talk dragons again, because I'm talking about my NAGA. All right, so this is starting to look familiar, right? Whenever we see this Lord, they always bring us to this HaWah or Hava with a V. And just like a child can understand it, we can go back to the Hebrew chart and see when they hijacked us by switching the W to a V, right? We can see clearly that in Picto, it's Ha-Wah with the W. And we can see in the modern Yiddish, they switched it to a V. So they took you out your frequency of the Wah, which takes you out your frequency of your security, which is a direct attack. So we go back, my noggin, to the Ha-Wah. Because ain't no breath without security, and ain't no security without your breath, my noggin. We need that before we can eat, you know what I mean? Get our food, get our cutoff day, and get our nourishment. Cut the hijack, separate from the hijack, use that mattock, which is a weapon, to slice and dice hijack city and put them outside the wall and put your people inside the wall. Either way, you got a division after you eat, my noggin. But first, you need security and you need breath and you need to tribe up together, gather, and walk through that door with your strong power. Seraph, angel of the highest order. Back to Numbers 21, verse 6. All right, so now we see how it went from Hava, right? To Hava from Hawa. We see the switcheroo with the W's and V's, hijack city. Gotcha. So Hawa sent fiery serpents. Whoa. Or Seraph, boss. Birdman hand rub. Ping pow. We just said Seraph is an dragon of the highest order. We just said Seraph represents the burning ones, the fiery, flying dragons, the burning ones, specifically popping off these seraphim in Isaiah chapter 6, which they over there singing in the throne. Holy, holy is Hawa. Seraphim. Fiery serpents, alchemical serpent, alchemical dragon, right? Two different things. So we see clearly these this highest order of angel is not a serpent, my naga. It's not an unconscious, um, how they say again, unconscious, impersonal nature. Does this sound like the dragon or the angel, the highest order, singing holy, holy to HaWah, impersonal? It seems like these seraphim are very personal with the Creator, very connected, right? They're not impersonal. They're not unconscious, bursting into consciousness. They definitely don't kill everything, right? Yeah, that's the serpent. Yeah, okay. Wow. So HaWah sent these dragons of the highest order, Managi. And how did they even break it down in lexicon? You notice it says Ha Seraphim. Ha Seraphim. Right. HaWah sent the Seraphim. God. From Seraph. Fiery. Fiery dragons. Seraph. We're talking burning, right? To burn, baby, burn. Two angels burnt down Sodom and Gomorrah, or two fiery dragons burnt down the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah? Now, you tell me, what makes more sense? Fiery snakes falling from heaven, or fire breathing dragons coming down to do what they must do, right? So, what makes more sense? We're talking Zariah, we're talking burning. We're getting some clarity, man. So now it's starting to make more clear sense. When we see fiery serpent, we got a burning seraphim, and a seraphim is an angel of the highest order. And I love this here because it says, and they bit, right, to bite. Now, again, what is, they're translating it bite because they want you to relate to a serpent, or they want you to relate to a snake, right? But is it really bite, or are we talking about, let's see, Strong's 5391A? Oh, come on, boss. Do it. Don't do us like this, boss. Don't do it. Don't do us like that, boss. Not shocked. All right. So not shocked. Back to the noon, right? So this was going to limit us to bite, bite, bit, and bite, bite. Let's go. Notice it says 5391A. So when they start putting them A's and B's, I want to see the original, man. What's 5391? Stop playing before y'all flipped it to only showing bite, bite, and bite. Let me see the truth, man. Is it biting, or is it Nashak? Let's see what else we got. Because this one has a lot more definition. A primitive route to strike with a sting, balls. I'm out of here, baby. I'm out of here, baby. I'm out of here, ball. So to the Strong's exhaustive concordance, the bite could land on the usury, or we could be taught to strike with a sting. Now, stinging opens up the connotation, the possibilities of what can be stinging you. It can be a bite of a snake. It could also be that fire from the dragon. Ouch, it's burning. The sting comes from the burn. The sting comes from the burn, which makes sense since they're saying they're getting the serpent from this Seraphim. They tried to throw us in a wing wham to 5391. We went back to 5391 and said, hey, you on that play? So this fire is represented by this stinging shock 5391. So these people are being stung by this fiery dragon who happens to be a seraph or an angel of the highest order. No play dragons, highest order dragons, right? This is Numbers 21. And I mean, that's just how it started, you know. Then comes the copper dragon, right? Wow. And then they called it a bronze serpent instead of a copper dragon. There wasn't no metal alloys back then called bronze. It was copper. We done deep on that before. Go get the drop. So I said, make thee a fiery dragon and set it upon a pole. So this dragon had to sit, they say, upon a pole, right? All this stuff, you can just look at the lexicon and you can start seeing a lot clear. Lexicon. I want to see what they use for pole. I want to see if they use the same seraph for the fiery serpent. This is verse 8, Numbers 21. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So let's see what they had to say. We saw verse 6. I don't think verse 8 would be much different, right? To the context, talking to the the dracon. Then the Lord, again, HaWah, said to Moses, make a fiery serpent from seraph. Same thing. Angel of the highest order. And set it or put it or place it on a standard. Now they just said pole. So now you got this image of a snake on a pole situation, and that became venerated and carved out and used as a graven image later when the people fell off again. They they was at first commemorating an amazing event where the creator personally helped them with this bronze copper dragon, and then it turned into a snake on a pole. Does it say pole? It says on a standard, on a ensign on a signal, nasas on a sign. Hmm, what's nasas? I mean, I don't think I dug on nasas before, but I like how they say a signal or a sign. What is nasas, man? Y'all know this? Okay. To be high. Wow. We going higher, man. We talking dragons, man. Wow. Okay. Come on, man. It don't say pole. It says that this dragon has to be put high. Put it high up so it can see everybody. And whoever it stings with its fire will get life. Death or life. It didn't say put a snake on a pole like the Christians translate it, like people think and have this graven image of a snake on a pole. It just means to be high, man. Nasas. 5264, right? Nosas. Okay. Conspicuous. Okay. All right. Slow down. You dropping too fast. Okay. 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 So this dragon, this dragon of the highest order, is being put on high. Now it says ensign, signal, sign, and doesn't that remind you of the alphabet, right? The alphabet. Because the last letter is the tau. And what does the tau mean? Remember the tau? Before they put Jesus on the cross, Managi, the dragon had to stand on the sign. Before they put Jesus on the cross, Ezekiel had to hold the two cross sticks representing the tribe of Israel coming back together, northern and southern tribes, Judah, Ephraim, everybody coming back home. The tau represented the what? The work, the conclusion of the work of HaWah, the conclusion of your work, which keeps going. All these lines, parallel and perpendicular, are all taus. If you zoom in, you're going to see one tau. If you zoom out, you'll see the whole grid of taus. Just like the grid, the ley lines, the dragon lines of the earth, right? Intersecting lines. Now, you have many taus throughout your life. We can tell the story over and over again about a strong power entering your house or your tribe or your body. And you can follow that story all the way to the tau every time. Tau, whether they spell it Tao, Tauta. Either way, you're talking about the mark, the sign, the signal, the monument. Give an image, but a happening, an event, a sign. Now, this sign, this signal, this Tau has been hijacked in Christianity, but in number Moses was instructed to put this copper dragon on this signal, which could have just been lines of the dragon lines or the ley lines of the earth plane. Somewhere high up, right? High on the intersecting lines of the frequency so that this fire will be pure fire, pure water. And whoever it touches gets life. That's more descriptive and clear than a snake on a pole, a bronze snake on a pole. And somehow it healed the people. Whoever it bit, come on, man. whoever the snake on the pole bit. Again, fiery serpents falling, fiery snakes, or fire breathing dragon. We're going to have to see clearly. You talking serpent or you talking dragon by now? These This cross stick situation is the intersecting lines of energy, frequency, vibration. This dragon was put on the intersecting lines of energy, frequency, and vibration as a sign. And whoever it breathed on, that was your sign of life. And whoever did get that fire, that was your sign of death. Before the crucifixion of JC, sign of death on our cross, we had our own sign and our own mark and our own signal. Yeah, okay. Sign, mark, signal, monument, cross sticks, man, intersecting lines. Put it on a standard or a standard ensign signal. Sign is the same as time. Put the fiery serpent, the dragon, the seraph, put it on a intersecting sign. Put it high, and it shall come about that everyone who is bitten, same nachash, or stung, when he looks to see clearly as it at it, he will live. So you got life. How did this dragon, how did this seraph give you life? If it's some demon, some this, some that, and this, Hawaii told Moses to make a demon snake on a pole, or Hawaii gave Moses the magic to make a dragon that gave you life. Just like, Moses made that, dragon in the presence of Pharaoh and the magicians and scared away his serpents with his dragon. Moses could turn that staff into a dragon. Even the movie Transformers had this staff to turn into a dragon. Huh? Yeah, we're talking life. We're talking living. I love the lexicon. It helps us see clearly. Wow. How y'all reeling, man? We talking Nagas on the flat earth plane. Isaiah chapter 6. Halal HaWah. These seraphim sing holy, holy. These seraphim sing holy, holy to Hawa. Highest order of angels. Because angels are dragons. Wow. Verse 1, let's go. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw Hawa sitting upon a throne high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim, fiery, right? Each one had 6 wings. And with twain he covered his face, with twain covered his feet, with twain he did fly. And one called unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is Hawa of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. NAGA, that's just what the seraphim do. That's just what the seraphim do. 6 wings. Highest order of the dragons. It's what they're using whenever they're talking about, this serpent business, this fiery flying serpent business. And, they're using a description of being able to see the Creator and his train filling the temple. Just reminded me of Psalms 18, getting all descriptive on us. Verse 3, HaWah is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my rock, in him I take refuge, my shield, my horn of salvation, my high tower. We didn't need no JC. We didn't need no son of this. We have the Creator as our shield. The horn of our salvation is HaWah, our high tower. Praised I cry is HaWah. We're talking the Psalm of David. Let's go. And I am saved from my enemies. The cords of death compassed me. The floods of Belial assailed me. The cords of Sheol surrounded me. Snares of death confronted me. But in my distress, I called upon HaWah and cried unto HaWah. Out of his temple he heard my voice, and my cry came before him unto his ears. The Creator got ears. Let's go. Talking description. Then the earth did shake and quake. The foundations also of the mountains did tremble. They were shaken because he was wroth. Smoke arose up in his nostrils. Creator got nostrils. Fire came out of his mouth. What? Did devour. Creator got nostrils and mouth, ears. Coals flamed forth from him. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and thick darkness was under his feet. Very descriptive. We got feet, nostrils, ears. It's all happening. We got a mouth with fire. Fire out of his mouth did devour. I'm just saying, when the Creator wants to come in battle form, the Creator can come in dragon form with fire out of his mouth to devour. Thick darkness was under his feet, and he rode upon a cherub and did fly. He did swoop down upon the wings of the wind. In other translations, or scriptures talk about the Creator, being covered in his wings. So this is not the first wings connection you're going to get with HaWah. He made darkness his hiding place, his pavilion round about him, darkness of waters. Sound like them dragons, right? Thick clouds of the sky. At the brightness before him, there passed through his thick clouds hailstones and coals of fire. HaWah also thundered in the heavens. Sound like them dragons, huh? And the Most High gave forth his voice. Hailstones and coals of fire, and he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot forth lightnings and discomfited them, and the channels of waters appeared, and the foundations of the world were laid bare. Remember, the world got foundations, Flat Drop 101. At thy rebuke, O HaWah, at the blast of breath of your nostrils. I'm just saying, it's a lot of dragon correlation coming out when HaWah is saving David. He seems to come in battle form with smoke out of his nose and fire out of his mouth. Let's go. My NAGA, my NAGA. Naga Mana. Just skipping around, pull up this link again. It's the one I was breaking down the Phoenician Naga, right? Yeah, about 500 BC or earlier, a brilliant deified Naga king and philosopher named ThaWaDa, also ThaWaDa, we got that. Cuba, Kuvera, Kivera, Hebera, we got that last time. Get the drop, learn how to smelt copper, gold, and other material or metals. These activities took place in the kingdom that named after him, Khyber or Hyber or Heber, Kibera. Right. So we got this Naga king who's got the drop on these metals. According to Hindu mythology, Kubera and God Shiva lived in the total bear. And we said it's just like a Prester Sheba connection. You know what I mean? Skipping up a little bit, you got the link. We derived our word from copper. Again, this Kyber, just like the Kiveta flow we got before. Remember, Kyber next to Arizona, the Grand Kiveta, Q or K, Baba Cavera, Arizona, and New Mexico, Four Corners. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Cavera is on the David Rumsey map. Shout out to J Madlock or Meta. And this, just know the Caveri kingdom was likewise the ruling power in those early days. Wealthy, abounding in rubies, gold. Sounds like home, right? Ruling power sounds like India's superior boss. They trying to hide India's superior. They trying to hide Asia major. But we got to go a few centuries back. And we got the hijack to know that the Kaveta, the Kibeta, is the copper. Copper comes from Kibeta or Hebrew. So the land of Eber or Heber, they turn it into Khyber, right? They turn it, is the copper, the copper Naga, copper color confound here, right? We got that. We're talking the ruling power, Indian superior. We're talking the press. Keep going. We got a piece of this before. The Nagas, also called the Nakas or NAHWA. Hawa were civilized, not savage, civilized, highly ruling, maritime. Yeah, that means you got the drop on the gateways. That means you got the drop on the vortexes. That means you got the drop on the ley lines, which they call the dragon lines. Highly civilized, ruling, maritime, mercantile class, who once inhabited what is now Afghan. Stop it, man. We know we're talking India superior. We talking India, right? The Nag, self-consuming dragon, was once one of their principal tribal emblems. Again, now we're falling off again back to the graven images, but we're talking about the dragon. Self-consuming means someone has got you to slay yourself, right? We are now slaying ourselves by killing each other, by eating the wrong foods, being out of cold. We are slaying ourselves by putting another power before our power. Now they can flip this, energy into their version of their Dayu, Dio, Deus, Jeus. They get into the Jupiters, they get into the Jesuses, right? They're going to try to get there. Dodge your own damn hijack. Kuveta's spiritual teaching spread throughout the whole world. Originally, the Azores, or Nagas, were not only a civilized people, but a maritime power, maritime power. And in Mahabharata, where the ocean is described as their habitation, an ancient legend is preserved of how Kadru, the mother of serpents, compelled Garudu, the eagle or the hawk, to serve her sons by transporting them across the sea to a beautiful country in a distant land, which was inhabited by Nagas. The Azores, the Nagas, were expert navigators, sound familiar, possessed of very considerable naval resources, and had founded colonies upon distant coasts. And they're connecting the Zore with the Indian equivalent Assyria. Interesting. Asur, Persian Ahura, and of Zoroastrianism. Interesting, man. Just take your time, dig on this, and like I said, dodge your own hijacks, because you know they're gonna try to get there, right? You see it coming. But we talking Joshua, not their JC, not their Joshua, right? They don't call him Joshua, but they say that's his name. But we're talking Joshua. When we talk Joshua, we're talking Quetzalcoatl. We're talking dragons, feathered dragon, the Quetzal bird. They're gonna keep coming with the Shiva flow. You see it. They also come with like a uh, almost like a Jupiter sounding name too. Somewhere in here, I saw it before. The Nagas didn't entrust their highly developed technologies to such aborigines. They're talking about the caveman, okay. But they did teach them how to build simple thatching adobe homes and to raise vegetables and animal foods. They also taught them about the creator of all life. They put these names on it. Even today, the old Doms call it Jeers or Josh or Joshi, but we're just talking about Joshua. Now, is Joshua, are they putting the title of the Shiva title on Joshua? And are they confused in the fact that Joshua was following the creator? Or are they venerating Joshua? Like I said, they venerate our queens and our king. But I want to dig on this Oho Doms because again, that just brings us back to these lands right here, this indigenous truth. Oho Dam, ancient Sanskrit word for brotherhood, fraternity, brotherhood. Interesting because before, they said something about with the Ho Coms, like those who disappeared. But the old Dam are the Ho Coms. So is this a brotherhood that disappeared? So every time we dig on this link, man, I always get some drop. The Arizonian Old Dam, similarly called the water siphon. According to both Kashmiri and Oldham legends, the Nabig was harmless. However, if someone killed it, the spring dried up, and for a good reason. Without proper siphon, needed water could no longer spew out the well, so now they were having droughts. And the Hohokam, or the Anasazi, remember this big drought they had between, I think, 900 AD and 1300. They were in migration because of some big drought. Any connection, any connection. However, some of them called other names, talking about this Nod, certain Odam, and other Native American clans in the southern Arizona and northern Sonora area also called this mythical serpent Korua. Sounds like Korea, man. with the R trilled as the English city. Okay. All right. Interesting, man. Korua. Almost sound like Kovera. We're just talking dragons. I'm belly flopping quickly, but you see it, man. Again, Kyber is also Keyboard. Heber is also Cyber. It's also Cyber. Or the Kyber crystal that made the, uh, you know, what's that called? The lightsaber in the Jedi Star Wars. Jedi Star Wars is made of the Kyber crystals that make the lightsaber. Kyber is the Hebrew crystals, man. The Eber crystal. Corvera Mountains filled with unlimited gold. So when you get back to this Corvera and they're looking for the cities of gold right here in, the four corners all throughout America, connect the unlimited gold with the Baba Corvera. And Afghan is just the grandson of King Saul, who was taken care of in the house of David. Right. Put it all together, man. About 3000 BC, a saintly Indian prince. All right, so before we had a deified Phoenician Naga, now we got a saintly Indian prince and high priest of the Kaveri Empire, left Afghanistan for Arizona. All right, so this is their story of how you got to AZ when we know that we was already here in India Superior to manage the mining operations at Baba Kaveri and govern the old Dams in India. He is variously called Shiva, Siva, Shava, all these names. Yesh, Ish, Isa, yada, 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 Yeshu, Yeshua. You got the Joshua flow, Moses, Moshe. All these titles are put on our prophets, of course. But we're just talking about a high priest. So was this high priest Moshe? Was it Joshua? All right. The suffixes va or ve refer to someone who is vengeful, short-tempered, or dodge the hijacks, because we know we ain't dealing with no vas. We ain't dealing with no vas, right? Nah, because they turn the wa into the va. Ooh, is that what they did? They flipped it into some anger. Now we got anger issues, man. Whoa, is that what they did? When they turned the W to the V's, it now refers to someone who was vengeful and short of temper. What? Is that what they did when they switched our W's to V's in the modern Yiddish? Ish. The prefix is ma or mo or mu, like the land of Mu or the Moor, right? Ma means great. Hey, MHOE ma, you great, my noggin. Material universe, both Sanskrit and Hebrew Kabbalism. From these Sanskrit elements, we derive our term Messiah. So Messiah comes from the Ma, which means great, Manak, connected with the Moshe, Messiah, Masaak, Mashiach in Hebrew. These terms were horrific titles of the highest ecclesiastical and leadership caste of that period in history. These supreme Sivas, whether good, bad, or indifferent, were also regarded as earthly gods. So they regarded Moshe as an earthly god, right? Don't you know that ye are gods amongst men? You got the power, is all this is saying. Demigod, God, whatever they want to call it, the dragon flow, dragon body, Nagas, you got the power, is all they really trying to say. The Ohodams, they say. Well, who's the Hohokam, my Naga? And you can research and recon and do what you gotta do. The Hohokam, now you right there in North American Southwest flow. Look to Arizona Museum of Natural History.org. The Hohokam are typically considered to be a Southwest Native American culture. Yes, they clearly have a strong ties to cultures in Mesoamerica, especially Mexico. Moshe. Hohokam platform mounds are similar to mounds or pyramids built and used in Mexico by such groups as the Toltecs. And we know that they are Hebrew, Aztec, and the Maya. Okay. So we're just focusing right now on this Southwest because remember the sweat hypothesis. I mean, understanding that we're talking about the Southwest, in particular, Arizona, right. Grand Canyon. That's exactly where India Superior would be located. And according to the sweat hypothesis, which stands for Southwestern United States and East Antarctica. What? It's the hypothesis that the southwestern United States was once at was at one time my bad, I'm just getting excited. Was at one time connected to Antarctica or East Antarctica. So the southwest United States was at one time connected to Antarctica, my knock. Okay. And this is this exact area that we got the Hohokam or the Old Dom, because the Hohokam are the Old Dom. The Hohokam are the Old Dom. According to the National Park Service, the word Hohokam is borrowed from the Old Dom language and is used by archaeologists to identify groups of people who lived in the Sonora Desert. Yeah. That's all we needed. Various spellings, including the Kam with a K or the Gam with a G. Khan, Huhu Gam, or Hobo. Okay. Either way, you're talking the old Uhu. And they say the Hohokam literally means those who have disappeared. Come on, man. And they are the Anasazi, and they say that means the enemy of our ancestors. So who's calling these people the enemies of their ancestors? Hi, Jack. Love to the Hakam. Considered to be a Southwest Native American culture. Good, because I'm talking about Southwestern United States and Antarctica, boss. Hey, ain't it beautiful, man? I say, ain't it beautiful, man? I'll leave this link for your viewing pleasure as we, let the flat drop take the wheel as we are speaking on the Nagas of the flat earth plane. The Tohono O'odham Nation. Just imagine in the late 1600s, a stranger on horseback has entered a village. Many of the people gather to see the stranger who is dressed in a dark flowing robe and large brim hat. The people of the village greet the stranger and welcome him. These people are the Tohono O'odham, and the village is Wa, whatever that, Wa. See the Wa. The stranger is Father King hijacks it. The Tohono O'odham of today is a nation with a population of more than 24,000 people. Are they the original O'odham or taking the titles like always? They live on 4 separate land bases totaling more than 2.7 million acres. So you got 24,000 people living on about 3 million acres, boss. Where's the rest of the people? Where's the rest of the people? Come on. They always say, oh, these guys were master farmers, master craftsmen, master this, that. You say, well, where did these people go? Are they in the hood? Are they in the hoods today? They are very involved with both traditional and spiritual ceremonies, where are they today? And they try to put them right here, right? Now you got the Hohokam. This is Arizona-ish, New Mexico, ancestral Pueblos, the Mogollon. All these are tribed up. I think all this is ancient Israel. Colorado and Utah. Okay. Man, it's a lot of drop. I mean, the whole com is a whole drop in itself, man. But, we here, man. We here. We here. We talking Southwest United States and East Antarctica one time being connected. That brings us into the worlds beyond the poles, man. Right quick, it's a quick little drop. Maybe we can get something out of it. Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. Digging on these NAGA. And then we're gonna take this and get some more drop, man, on the melanated true earth plane. So we can get orientation pies, orientation enchiladas. Y'all ready? Okay, come on, IJ. Come on, IJ. Yeah, come on, man. Ridiculous. You're taking walks, man. You about to fall in the fire. You about to fall in the fire. Let's go.
Cosmos and doing their own thing. Whoever wants to perceive, whoever wants to dig deeper into life, for them it's always been available. While Adiyogi is carrying a naga around his throat, this represents that aspect of you where you're able to perceive something which your senses cannot perceive. Every major event in my life is always punctuated with the presence of naga.
We're taking it to the Hindu flow, you know what I mean? And shout out to Sad Guru, he's been popping off. So he's gonna give his perspective. I don't need you to get a dragonfly perspective. We're talking energy, frequency, and vibration. He's saying where the five senses fail, there the work of the Nagas begins. Let's go.
Where the five senses fail, there the work of the naga begins.
Wow.
So, what is this naga about? This is not limited to one area or one geography on the planet. Literally across the planet, this has been there. Why is this so? Even in places where there is not been much serpent population, even there, the naga veneration and serpent worship has been there. Those right from ancient times who looked at this profoundly realized that even our faculties, the existing faculties of five senses of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching have their limits, and beyond that they will not go. You can stretch it. You can stretch it beyond what your neighbor has, but it stops somewhere. But the human longing to expand, the human longing to know is limitless. So, they came up with various devices how to enhance perception. In this, many things evolved, many things were done, many deities were created, they were literally windows into the cosmos. But Naga has been a significant part of it. When we say Naga, you are just thinking of a snake that lives in these hills or elsewhere. Well, that is one part of it. Why, as you see, Adiyogi has Naga upon his shoulder, because Adiyogi is making a statement, he's as good as me. So as a part of this, both many forms of… energetic forms of Nagas were created and left loose in this cosmos. Some of them, these manifestations are made by human beings, but there are many other manifestations of Naga which are not of human origin. We do not know who created them, definitely not human beings, but they are floating around.
Mysterious substance of unknown origin.
Around in the cosmos and doing their own thing. Whoever wants to perceive, whoever wants to dig deeper into life, for them it's always been available. Every major event in my life is always punctuated with the presence of Naga. I didn't seek this, it always happened. In the early part of my life when I started closing my eyes, I didn't do anything particular, just close my eyes, the need to open my eyes was gone. So if I sat in a place somewhere in some hills or some forest, 4 or 5 hours if I sat with my eyes closed, when I opened there would be 12, 15 cobras sitting there and waiting. They were my first disciples,
Mm.
but they were not my disciples, I was the disciple. Because
It
it
took
took
me
me
some
some
time
time
to
to
realize.
realize that they are perceiving something more easily than I'm trying to perceive. In a much simpler way, they're able to perceive. It took some time for me to keep the human part of my intellect down and just perceive things like a naga. What is this about? When did Sadhguru become this kind? He's always been this kind. It's just that it's important that in today's world, everything needs to be logically correct. Being logically correct will take us to a certain point. Beyond that, unless you know how to evolve your logic where it will touch the magic of life, otherwise we get stopped by our own logic. As you step into these realms, either you will defeat your logic or your logic will defeat you. One
Mm.
of these things will happen.
God.
So defeating your logic is not going to be that easy. It takes really earth-shaking experiences within you. When something very fundamental is moved, only then you will drop your logic. Otherwise, you will not give it up. So the only thing that will happen is your logic will defeat you. I don't want that to happen to you. Your logic is wonderful. I've always nurtured it in everybody, but it is also limited.
Mm.
Well, in 21st century, starting a Naga process is little risky for me because I have a reputation as a very logical guru, which I may lose. But I've reached a point where I'm not interested in reputations anymore. That part of the work is done. In the yogic culture, maximum attention was given to Naga. Well, the yogi is carrying a Naga around his throat because this represents that aspect of you where you're able to perceive something which your senses cannot perceive. Where the five senses fail, there the work of the Naga begins.
You're gonna hit us with the hijack. Hit us with the hijack. Hijack City never late. Man. She's like, okay, okay. What y'all think, man? Where the five senses fail, there the work of the dragon begins. You see how heavy they are with this.
Listen, if you want to become wealthy, you
Oh, man,
probably
we
do.
didn't ask for this, man. We want our naga back. We want our dragon back. We want our flow back, our energy, our frequency, our vibration. You know what I'm saying? So, I just want to get a piece of that, man. 100 proofs. The earth is not a globe. W. Carpenter, man. William Carpenter, 1885. Let's go. Belly flop. Number 8. If the earth were a globe, a small model globe would be the very best because the truest thing for a navigator to take to sea within. But such a but such a thing as this is not known. With such a toy as a guide, the mariner would wreck his ship. I mean, yeah, man. If you're on a ball, why not just take something that represents the ball like a globe to see? Why you take your flat maps, man? Hey, man, since the mariner will wreck his ship of a certainty, this is proof the earth is not a globe. Let's go back. Number 7. If we take a trip down the Chesapeake Bay in the daytime, we may see for ourselves the utter fallacy of the idea that when a vessel appears hull down, as it is called, it is because the hull is behind the water. For vessels have been seen and may often be seen again, presenting the appearance spoken of in a way far away beyond those vessels, and at the same time, the level shore line with its accompanying complement of tall trees towering up in perspective over the heads of the hull down ships. Since then, the idea will not stand its ground when the facts rise up against it, and it is a piece of a popular theory. The theory is a contemptible piece of business, and we may easily wring from it a proof that the earth is not a globe. I'm skipping around, man. Belly flop. Number 16, let's go. If the earth were a globe, the distance around its surface at, say, 45 degrees south latitude could not possibly be any greater than it is at the same latitude north. But since it is found by navigators to be twice the distance, to say the least of it, or double the distance, it ought to be according to the globular theory. It is a proof that the earth is not a globe. Number 17, human beings require a surface on which to live that in its general character shall be level. Humans need a level surface. And since the omnipotent or omniscient creator must have been perfectly acquainted with the requirements of his creatures, it follows that being an all-wise creator, he has met them thoroughly. Halal HaWah. This is a theological proof that the earth is not a globe. Last one, we're going to skip back to number 14. Let's go. Parallels of latitude only of all imaginary lines on the surface of the earth are circles which increase progressively from the north center to the southern circumference. The mariner's course in the direction of any one of these concentric circles in his longitude, the degrees of which increase to such an extent beyond the equator, going southwards, that hundreds of vessels have been wrecked because of the false idea created by the untruthfulness of the charts and the globular theory together, causing the seller to be continually getting out of his reckoning. With the map of the earth in its true form, all difficulties done away with, and ships may be conducted anywhere with perfect safety. This, then, is a very important practical proof that the earth is not a globe. Hey, man, one more. All right, we're going to belly flop. Number 39, let's go. We have abundance of evidence that the sun moves daily round and over the earth in circles concentric with the northern region over which hangs the North Star. But since the theory of the earth being a globe is necessarily connected with the theory of its motion around the sun in a yearly orbit, it falls to the ground when we bring forward the evidence of which we speak, and in doing so forms proof that the earth is not a globe. Number 41 more. The Suez Canal, which joins the Red Sea and the Mediterranean, is about 100 miles long, boss. It forms a straight and level surface of water from one end to the other, and no allowance for any supposed curvature, man, was made in its construction. These engineers have not formed this 100-mile long situation and forget that it should be curving at least 8 inches every mile, or all that. So they just built a straight canal, just like straight bridges and straight railroad tracks are not curving, or not engineered to, for any allowance of curvature. My nog, it's these engineers don't even think about the curvature when they build these long bridges and what I'm saying, underground anything, like never. Flat water, flat railroad tracks, flat, flat, flat. It is a clear proof that the earth is not a globe. One more. Okay. 41. When astronomers assert that it is necessary to make allowance for curvature in canal construction, it is, of course, in order that in their idea a level cutting may be had for the water. How flagrantly, then, do they contradict themselves when they say that the curved surface of the earth is a true level? What more can they want for a canal than a true level? Since they contradict themselves in such an elementary point as this, it is an evidence that the whole thing is a delusion, and we have a proof that the earth, say it with me, is not a globe. It's not a globe, man. We having fun with this. All right, it's a cool documentary we'll get in there. I want to get out of here with some vibes of the cosmos. Next time we'll get some more worlds beyond the poles, man. And shout out to the con who recommended this in our comments and said, yo, y'all gotta dig on this documentary, man. It's gonna break down a lot of connectivities. Shout out to Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. All right. Fair use, fair use. Fair use in a caboose ball. I still got my fair use. They should know by now it's fair use, man. You know, there we go. I mean, we do this enough for them to understand, but still, fair use, purposes such as criticism, comments, news report, fair use, scholarship, education. Leave us alone. Back, high back. Give us 50,000 straight miles. It's proof you're not on the ball. All right, this is a nice long doc. We're going to just get a few minutes for the dismount and get some of that, vibes of the cosmos on the way out. I love Flat Drop 101, especially when we talk NAGA talk. Lego. Dodging hijacks. Oh, yeah. You want us to get that alpha brain, man? We're getting our left brain, and we are popping off, man. Are we belly flopping? We belly flopping? Man, what a belly flop. All right, hold up, man. I'm going to get it back a little bit. I'm going to get it back for a stack. I'm going to belly flop to the about 30-minute mark, man. And they're going to make me sit through some more. Some more. Oh, okay, man. Shout out to the Aqua. Aqua's popping off. I don't mind. All right, let's see what they're talking about, man. We're talking about flat earth and some secrets and stuff.
We see it is an impossibility. Come on, jump in. We must venture further into these cities and look a little closer. There must be some clues waiting to be uncovered that helps us understand why these cities are empty. Wait, what's that you say? You want to wipe the mud from your boots first? Do not bother, it's a waste of time.
Okay.
Come on, jump in and let's go. For it is the mud that offers us some small clues as to what could have occurred during this time period.
I'm belly flopping around a little bit.
It represents a terrestrial and fixed force, while the eagle represents the airy and volatile force, or the Mercury. When the two champions come together, they attack, repel, and tear each other apart with energy, until the antagonists become one body.
Let's go, right here.
Within a forest dark, for the straightforward path had been lost. And during my journey, as I made my way through the tangled labyrinthine paths of deception, looking for the center of truth, I met a brilliant woman who taught me many a flat fact. But out of all of her flat facts, it was one fact that struck a chord. She showed me the maps of old and asked me to find the key anomaly, the one error that all maps contained. I pointed to the varying representations of unknown land masses, to Hyperborea. She shook her head. No, find the glitch. We live on a flat plane. Our world is an electromagnetic terrarium, surrounded by an ethereal sea of water. And like all terrariums, after initial creation, they begin to form their own self-sustaining atmosphere. The sun and the moon journey of our flat realm in concentric spirals. There are 5 prominent circles of latitude, we are told. We have the Arctic Circle, closest to the center, the Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degrees latitude in the northern hemisphere, the Equator at 0 degree latitude, the Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degrees latitude in the southern hemisphere, and the Antarctic Circle. The sun journeys from the equator at the March equinox up in concentric spirals to the Tropic of Cancer. When the sun is in this position, the northern hemisphere experiences summer and the southern hemisphere experiences winter. After which, the sun turns and begins making its way back to the equator. The word tropic stems from the Latin word tropicus, which means pertaining to a turn. The sun journeys back, taking the same concentric spiral path, and reaches the equator again. It then keeps going and reaches the Tropic of Capricorn. When the sun is in this position, the southern hemisphere experiences summer and the northern hemisphere experiences winter. After a time, the sun turns and begins making its way back to the equator for the March equinox. The equinox occurs when the sun is journeying the circle of the equator, and those living along this line of latitude will see the sun directly overhead at a 90-degree angle at solar noon. The March equinox marks a season of spring in the northern hemisphere, and the September equinox marks a season of autumn. If you live in the southern hemisphere, this is reversed, and the September equinox marks spring and the March equinox autumn. It is important to note that the sun never reaches the Arctic Circle, nor does it reach the Antarctic Circle. It never reaches the poles. It journeys to the tropic circles and then turns back. The point at which the sun reaches its most northerly and southerly excursion relative to the equator is called the solstice. Solstice comes from the Latin word solstitia, which means point at which the sun seems to stand still. And indeed, many do note that the sun seems to stop on the solstices. And this is because, in a sense, it does. It reaches the most northerly and southerly excursion and turns back. But why the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn? Who names these circles of latitude? Our historical ancestors did. They had clocks that not only told them the seconds of the hour, the hours in the day, but also the moment of dusk and dawn and the current phase of the moon. Their clocks understood the true time, the bigger picture. They understood the celestial clock. The stars above us, beyond our firmament, and in the waters above, revolve at a constant 1 degree every 4 minutes, from east to west, that is, anti-clockwise. This means they revolve at 15 degrees each hour. 15 degrees multiplied by 24 hours is 360, a full circle. The stars above are fixed. They do not stray from their anti-clockwise journey, but revolve and complete a full circle every day. Our ancient, historical ancestors knew this. They assigned the stars above into fixed constellations. They divided the 360-degree circle of the sky above into 12 divisional arcs of 30 degrees, in which each constellation of the zodiac resides in. They designated each constellation in each 30-degree arc with an anthropomorphic symbol, most of which are animals. Zodiac is an interesting word. Zodiac, the arcs of the zoo. Yes, the parallels with Noah's Ark are strikingly obvious. Each constellation of the zodiac moves from its fixed position in the waters above at 1 degree every 72 years. The stars in the circle above us are fixed in their positions, but every 72 years, the entire circle shifts 1 degree. This is what is called the precession of the equinox. Remember, each arc is 30 degrees. If we multiply 72 with 30, we get 2,160 years. It takes 2,160 years for the circle above to shift 1 whole arc. Astronomers call this an age, and this is what is meant by entering or the dawn of a new age. As Wikipedia tells us, the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn were named such because many years ago, in the days before Christ, the days before BC, the sun was in the constellation of Cancer at the June solstice, and the sun was in the constellation of Capricorn at the December solstice. What does it mean for the sun to be in a given constellation during the solstice? It means a position of the sun in the sky at solar noon. Of course, during solar noon, we would not actually be able to see the stars in the firmament beyond. Therefore, to discern the sun's position relative to the constellations requires either 1, a thorough understanding of the stars and their positions above. Our ancient ancestors, we are told, created star charts and used devices such as astrolabes. Or 2, computer technology that is able to map and overlap the sun's position against the backdrop of the stars and constellations at solar noon. The sun's presence in the constellation of a given zodiac sign means exactly as it sounds. At solar noon, on the day of the solstice, the sun should be in front of a given constellation. Look closer at the zodiac wheel featured on the dial of these clocks. Here we see that both the constellations of Cancer and Capricorn are polar opposites to one another. These are the names of the 2 lines of latitude on the maps and that we use to discern the sun's most northerly and southerly excursion above our flat plane. All historical cartographic world maps display both these circles of latitude as Cancer and Capricorn.
Wow, look at that joint. So much land in Antarctica, huh? Yeah, buddy. No cap on Antarctica's chest ball.
We see it here on Mercator's maps. On the Ortelius.
All this land. All this land.
On the Rouge. On the Urbano Monte.
Ooh, oh, this is the one we got last time. I like that belly flop. I like it. I like the belly flop. One more time. Just pay attention to how much land is in Antarctica, my nugget. And, you know, we got the other map last time, right? Terra Incognito.
We see it here on Mercator's maps.
They call it Australia. So this was the first Australia, which just meant below. It just meant below. Terra Australias, right?
On the Ortelius.
Same thing.
On the Rouge.
Now it says Tara Sancta Boss. And we got last time Tara Sancta means what? Holy land. So what holy land are we connecting to this America, South America, Southwest sweat hypothesis? When Antarctica connected to the Southwest United States?
On the Urbano Monte.
We got this one right. No cap on Antarctica's chest ball and all this beautiful tropical land.
Cartographic maps combine so-called science with aesthetics to communicate spatial information effectively. They strive to be accurate. And we still use this designation of Cancer and Capricorn for these circles of latitude on our cartographic maps today. Google Earth also uses these designations. But why? As Wikipedia states, when this line of latitude was named in the last centuries BC, the sun was in the constellation Cancer at the June solstice, the time each year that the sun reaches its zenith at this latitude. Similarly, when the Tropic of Capricorn was named, the sun was in the constellation of Capricorn at the December solstice. And the wheel of the zodiac makes this very easy to understand. For instance, if the sun is in any given constellation at solar noon on the June solstice, then its counterpart on the December solstice will always be in the constellation opposite to the June sign. And this is represented with a straight vertical line. If, for instance, the sun was in the constellation of Aries at the June solstice, then it will appear in the constellation of Libra in the December solstice. If the sun was in the constellation of Pisces at the June solstice, then it would be in the constellation of Virgo during the December solstice. These signs are, in a sense, bound in their opposition to one another.
Okay.
And this is where it becomes interesting. The vertical line here represents the tropic circles and their respective constellations during the solstices. But they are governed by another circle of latitude, the equator. On the wheel, this is represented by the horizontal line. And you'll see that the lines form a cross. The equator and the tropic circles are
X marks the spot. Now we're talking the tau, the mark, the sign, the covenant.
bound in unison by this cross. Remember, the zodiac is the clock face of the circle of stars above us.
Clock.
When one turns anti-clockwise, the rest follow. And just like the signs of the solstices, the left hand of the horizontal line here represents the constellation the sun is in during the March equinox, and the right hand side representative of the sign during the September equinox. And it is the left hand side of the cross, the March equinox, or what is referred to as the vernal equinox, and its zodiac sign, which acts as a reference point for the entire celestial coordinate system. It's called the first point of Aries. The naming of this reference point after the sign Aries is arbitrary, or so they say. We also use it as a reference point for naming the age we are in. And if we start in the age of Aries, we can illustrate the precession of the equinox and the designation of constellations to their corresponding circles of latitude quite clearly. For instance, if the sun is in the constellation of Aries during the March equinox, then we have the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. We also see that the sun will be in the constellation of Libra during the September equinox. Now the stars above us are revolving anti-clockwise from their usual fixed positions at 1 degree every 72 years, and a whole zodiac arc every 2,160 years. So let's jump 2,160 years to the age of Pisces. The sun is, of course, in Pisces during the March equinox. We have the Tropic of Gemini and Sagittarius, and the sun in Virgo during the September equinox. You'll no doubt have noticed that the wheel represented here turns clockwise, and that's because it's a representation of the constellations, as if your view was outside of the firmament and looking down on the stars.
Wow.
If you were standing underneath this wheel and looking up, it would rotate anti-clockwise. I am using the clockwise representation because it is the best way to illustrate the precession of the equinox. This rotation keeps shifting one arc every 2,160 years.
2 + 1 + 6 is 9. Before everything added up to 360, 3 + 6 is 9. The 9 is governing all these numbers. We're going to get more because tick-tock, we on the clock. Tick-tock is Earth the clock. Shout out to Vibes of Cosmos. Get a couple minutes of his latest drop, Fair Use, and they caboose. Before we go on and, make it a great, perfect 9 dismount, my NAGA. Yeah, man. First, we got to dodge about 9 of these hijacks here. Giving out apples to dwarves, man. Tripping. Hey, man. Vibes pop off. Vibes. Hold up. Hijack City, man. Hijack City. Yeah, Vibes really vibing with this moon flow, man. Vibes got the drop on the moon map. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to get more of a clear understanding of the moon, man. When we look at this moon, a lot of us don't know what time it is, man. If the earth is a clock, then it has a lot to do with time. It has a lot to do with our flow. Let's go. Oh yeah. Let go. Let go. We're just talking about the moon. We're just talking about the moon. Can you dig? Can you dig on that? Belly flop. So all these areas, Managa, all these areas are on the same moon we see every day. This is just a map coming right off the moon. I mean, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. But you need a nigga to sit there and label all this for you, man. And appreciate vibes for that. Yeah. I'm just, I'm just giving you the layout. I'll leave the link though and see if you can see all these areas on the moon, especially a full moon. It's like a map of the lands you know and a map of a lot of the lands you don't know. Oh, then there's Atlantis. And then there's Atlantis. Let go. He found Atlantis on the moon. Worlds beyond the poles, man. Chronos, what they got to do with time? What they got to do with time? It's a play. You would think Pleiades is just a star system. That's it, right? Nah, man, it's just more land beyond the pole. A lot more happening with these lands beyond the poles. You know what I mean? And I guess we just got to do some, be able to observe, be able to form a hypothesis, and then you can start to see clarity and connect things for yourself. We like to vibe up with all reconners, researchers, and really put our theory together, man. Put our story together, man, and continue to add to the investigation. Little at a time, man. Here a little, there a little, man. And I gotta give major A-hop to Ty Bazan. She popping off at Soul Bone Podcast, man. Hit up Soul Bone Podcast on IG, cause we're talking about this clock business, right? Is the Earth a clock? And they say tick tock. Are you on? Are you on a clock? Soul Bone Podcast. Got the drop. Let go. Tick tock. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Fair use in a caboose ball. It's a clock, folks. It's a clock.
It's a clock. Virus, you're a genius. You're a genius. This entire arena seems to be laid out like a clock.
I don't know if they can play it, especially on YouTube, but look, man, go get the drop. Soul Bone Podcast on IG. And just, let us know, man. Is this earth a clock? Is it a clock? Is the earth a clock? You're a genius, boss. Counterclockwise, right? New standard map of the world. The Gleason flow. Recon, man. These are maps that are literally looking like clocks, right? Bing bang. It's a clock. Tick tock. Shout out to my bro Mo Egger. You're on the clock. I am Dame. Open your eyes, Israel, man. The Most High is rolling. Don't tick tock. Salute to the fam. Hey, June solstice. We just got the solstice drop. Tick tock. Path of the sun, 24 hours. Wow. So, how do you get off the clock? Is it the same clock when you go outside the wall to more worlds beyond the pole? ThaWaDa is popping off. What does the stratosphere have to say about the Earth's shape? He said it seemed like a flat disc with upturned edge, man. Shout out to August Picard, man, because they've been doing these experiments for a long time. They've been having their interviews and showing the flat Earth map right behind, you know, Admiral Byrd and them right in your face, ball. They didn't use no Mercator projection. This is the azimuthal equidistant AE flat Earth map projection right in your face, ball. I said right in your face, ball. So many more. I love to get mappy. Hey, is Antarctica and America one and the same? I say sweat hypothesis. You see how it's all connected. You see how it's all connected. These are beautiful maps. ThaWaDa got the drop. It differs from what we see or used to seeing with the green Antarctica on the map. Can everyone see? Well, Antarctica, a huge single continent made up of two Americas, where South America is connected to the flowering lands. Yeah, all right. France's leading explorer says recent discoveries in Antarctica indicate the vast frozen area is divided into two distinct land masses. It's kind of like North and South America, boss. Ooh. The theory of some geographers that Antarctica was divided into two principal masses separated by a trough filled with barrier ice extending from the Ross Sea to the Wadden. NAGA. ThaWaDa is popping off. Soul Bone podcast where a con could be a con and have a conversation. I mean, the sun looks pretty local to me, right? The sun doesn't look 93 million miles away, boss. It looks like it's just chilling. Maybe a few thousand, man. Maybe a few thousand miles away. Sometimes it looks even closer. Look at this, boss. Look at this, boss. Hey, I'm out of here, baby. On this note, we out of here, man. 93 million miles, my nigga. Does this look 93 million miles, boy? Use your senses. Remember to use your senses again, my nigga. You can see clearly. You got your dragon. You are the NAGA. You are the gathering. You are the seed. And you see clearly, my NAGA. And remember, where the senses fail, that's where the NAGA begins. Woo! Where the senses fail, that's where the Nagas begin. That's where your Drakan starts popping off. Because you see clearly. Halal HaWah, ThaWaDa for surfing the wave with a Naga 9 above the barrier, my Naga. So we can be one tribe, one vibe, united in reality, united, within our time, not hijack city. You dig? United, back to being abundant cons on our land, living free, living securely with that breath and that security. That's my prayer, that we tribe up and walk through that door together as many times as we need to, my Naga. Code up within your heart bone, within your mind bone, within your ruach. And remember, the dragon is the vessel where the ruach is contained, my Naga. Do you see clearly? ThaWaDa to the Khan dynasty. ThaWaDa Amahaba, our framer, our shaper. Wow! For creating these Nagas on this beautiful flat earth plane. Our melanated true earth plane. Tribe up, vibe up, rise up. Kum Shabata. Kum.